Hi guys, I just finished giving my UCL MPharm interview and it went quite well. So here is some advice that I would like to give you guys. Of course, I have to be very careful because I cannot disclose any questions that they have directly asked. So here are some generic advice that I can give you guys in my competency. First and foremost, make yourself aware of the UCL professional and personal values. For example, caring and compassionate conduct, safe and effective patient care, honest and respectful behavior, and responsible and accountable actions, because through your answer you'll have to let them know that you possess these qualities. Of course, like any other MPharm interview, you would really need to know your motivation for studying pharmacy and of course why you chose that university in the first place. And the way that I would advise that you guys answer it is by actually doing in-depth research of the university and what really makes it stand out. My advice would be to really practice a lot of ethical scenarios. For example, those questions such as tell me about a time you did XYZ, or describe a time where you did XYZ, those kind of questions. Another advice that I have for you guys is try to mention your work experience, your extracurriculars, and stuff like that in your answers, because they might not directly ask you about your work experience. Of course, it's UCL, it's one of the top universities in the world, and you really need to stand out. And I believe one way you could really do it is don't let them know that you've memorized the answers, or don't say your answers in a way that sounds memorized or robotic. Instead, when they ask you a question, and even if you perfectly know the answer of it, take a pause, try to process it, give a smile, then slowly start giving your answers. If you know an answer, if you just suddenly start blurting it out, they're gonna know for a fact that you've memorized it and you're robotic. Another underrated tip, go out of your way, actually dress well, because I got complimented by the interviewers when I entered. Keep a question prepared to ask in the end. Make the question interesting, make it stand out, so that you yourself as an applicant can stand out. Alright, lastly, there are gonna be 2 interviewers who are gonna ask you a lot of questions in a span of a short time, back to back. So be prepared to answer a lot of questions in a short span of time, but don't rush. Comment if you are in need of any other advice, and comment the word ethical if you want a list of ethical questions that you can practice before the test.